One of the many downfalls of screens is that it takes our attention away from more important things. How can grandparents keep their grandchild's attention without a screen?
Yeah. And this is truly training. And so grandparent, lean into that whole thing like, because I told you so, like you got this. And it's the same principle that in the absence of screens, your grandkids are going to find something to do. I would start with chocolate chip cookies personally, like do something fun. You don't have to entertain your grandkids the whole time you're there, but part of the time you're there. Maybe there's 15 minutes of uninterrupted time where you are baking together and then you put it in the oven and then they're given something. And really, if you do little things like in Grandparenting Screen Kids, we have these little tips like, okay, your iPad needs to take a nap now, just like you. And you can have like a little blanket for the iPad. And I mean, it could be super, super cute. And you put the iPad to bed and you say, okay, well, it needs to sleep for 2 hours. And so here's a book. And in the absence of being able to access that. So you have to believe that as a grandparent, so if that grandkid pushes, screams, give it to me, I want it. You as a grandparent have to be like, sorry, buddy, my house, my rules, iPad's napping, here's your book. And if you do that, every single time your grandchild comes, they'll get it. They'll understand like, okay, it's iPad nap time, and now I'm supposed to read this book. And of course, we're trying to find something that they like. We're trying to learn about our grandchildren, see, do they like to draw? Do they like to build? Do they like to construct things? Do they want to take apart an old radio that you have that doesn't work anymore? Like, find them. And I just read recently, too, that if there are too many toys around, grandparents, we love to spoil the kids, right? So if there are too many things around, sometimes the grandkids don't know where to go, but it was interesting. I forgot that it was an article I just glanced at, but they were saying if there's just a few options, then they'll say, okay, there's this box of Legos and I'm going to make something with it. Or, here's dirt and a shovel. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to build something. Like, simplify it. It doesn't have to be, here are 1,000 options for you to spend the next hour, but hey, okay, let's draw your mom a picture. So when she comes home, she's had a hard day. Let's draw our picture and make it really simple and realize that your grandkids can do things by themselves, but have that 15 minutes where you are taking a nature walk together and talking and looking for a particular leaf, that you are baking together, that you are reading a book out loud together with them. So those short bursts of concentrated time, and then it's really good, like boredom, that helps your grandkid to be creative. It helps your grandkid to listen and think all day long. If they're on screens all day long, then that really could be a good time for them to be quote unquote bored at grandma or grandpa's house and really get to relax a little bit.
Yeah, my 4-year-old will say the TV needs to rest.
Yeah.
Which is great until I try to turn it on and he's telling me it's still resting.
It's still resting.
Yeah, apparently that TV takes a long nap and I can't turn it on.
Needs more time. That's hilarious.
Well, research has shown that the average age for first-time grandparents has dipped from the 50s to the 40s, which makes me feel kind of old because I'm getting there.
Totally.
Yeah, but that does mean that many grandparents are really well acquainted with technology and they're using it every day for pleasure, using it every day for their jobs. How can grandparents make sure they're setting the example for their kids and grandkids with technology?
It's a great question. And I think if for grandparents and parents, if we ask this question, if my grandchild uses technology just like me, would I be happy with it?
Ooh.
And if you are a Christ follower and that's important to you, and having that legacy of faith is important to you, how has technology touched your faith? And would you want it to shape your child's faith in the same way? And I think so much of parenting and grandparenting is realizing, oh wait, I want that for my child, so I guess I better do that myself, because I want my child to be able to read scripture and have the attention span to read scripture. So maybe, wow, I shouldn't be on my phone all the time, shortening my attention span and just watching all these 15-second clips. And then I'm like, I'm out, it's too hard for me to digest. So ask that question. If they grow up to use tech like me, would that be a good thing? And if you feel like, oh man, I have some, bad habits, whether it's too much news at night or, whatever your thing is, because it could be a good thing. I mean, you might be watching sermons, but maybe you're watching 10 a day and that's too many, I know that's probably not the case with what our problems are, but look at yourself first and know that whatever you say is one thing, but they're watching you, and that's a much greater barometer of what they realize is really true. If they see, wow, grandma, grandpa, when they're with me, they put their phone down and they listen to me and they talk to me, across the dinner table, and they'll play for 10 minutes with me without the phone present, they're going to understand I'm important to my grandma, to my grandpa. But if they have those same experiences, but your phone is in your hand or you're constantly doing something else, you're multitasking, they're going to get the message, oh, okay, that phone is part of all of our lives and it probably should be part of mine too.